So today we're doing a read aloud. Our story is Chrysanthemum by Kevin Hanks. I'm going to read it facing me and then I will turn it and show you the pictures. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew. And when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her in for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written with ink on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on a birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. What do you think, friends? Do you love your name as much as Chrysanthemum loves her name? Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. Hooray, said Chrysanthemum. School! But when Mrs. Chud took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. Do you see everyone else's names, friends? You have Dawn and Eve, Max, Kay, Louis, Sue, Bill, Tom, Sam. And Chrysanthemum's name barely even fits in her box. It doesn't even really fit, does it? It's so long, said Joe. It scarcely fits on your name tag, said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. You're named after a flower. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chud that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. That's a lot of letters. That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the entire alphabet, Victoria explained. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chud. Now put your head down. Friends, look at Chrysanthemum. How do you think she feels? She's over here. I think she's feeling kind of sad. Is that very nice of her new friends to be making fun of her name? No. It's not very nice. If I had a name like yours, I'd change it, Victoria said, as the students lined up to go home. I wish I could, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag, and I'm named after a flower. Oh, pish, said her mother. Your name is beautiful, and precious and priceless and fascinating and winsome, said her father. It's everything you are, said her mother. Absolutely perfect. So friends or parents are trying to help her feel better. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup, and an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed her name was Jane, It was an extremely pleasant dream. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked to school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, 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 she wrote. She even looks like a flower, said Victoria as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. Friends. Are Chrysanthemum's new friends being nice? No. They're not being good friends to her. Should you pick on somebody because of their name? No. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, A chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things. Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria, said Mrs. Chudd. Now put your head down. I just cannot believe your name, Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. Neither can I, thought Chrysanthemum miserably. Welcome home, said her mother. Welcome home, said her father. School is no place for me, said Chrysanthemum. They said I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me. Oh, pish, said her mother. They're just jealous and envious and begrudging and discontented and jaundiced, said her father. Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours, said her mother. After all, it's absolutely perfect, said her father. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better after her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, and another evening filled with hugs and kisses and pertese. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that she really was a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her hand. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. Why do you think, friends? You think maybe it's because she doesn't really want to go there since people aren't being nice? Guess we'll have to wait and see. She stopped and stared at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. Friends, can flowers really talk? That morning, the students were introduced to Mrs. Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was like something out of a dream, as was everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Mrs. Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. Mrs. Twinkle led the students in scales. Then she assigned roles for the class musical. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess. Joe was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger. And Chrysanthemum was chosen as a daisy. Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy, Joe, Rita, and Victoria chanted. thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. "What's so humorous?" asked Mrs. Twinkle. "Chrysanthemum," was the answer. "Her name is so long," said Joe. "It scarcely fits on her name tag," said Rita, pointing. "I'm named after my grandmother," said Victoria. "She's named after a flower." Friends, are her new friends getting any nicer? Are they making better choices? Oh, it's kind of sad. I bet that's how Chrysanthemum is feeling right now. Mighty sad. My goodness. "My name is long," said Mrs. Twinkle. "It is," said Joe. "My name would scarcely fit on a name tag," said Mrs. Twinkle. "It would," said Rita, pointing. "And," said Mrs. Twinkle, "I'm named after a flower, too." "You are?" said Victoria. "Yes," said Mrs. Twinkle. "My name is Delphinium. Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. I think it's absolutely perfect." Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed, she beamed, she bloomed. Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum. My goodness, friends, check her out. She looks so much happier. You show me how you say happy, happy. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. "Call me Marigold," said Joe. "I'm Carnation," said Rita, pointing. "My name is Lily of the Valley," said Victoria. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. Friends, this is the last page. It's called an epilogue. So this is what happens after a story is finished. In the epilogue, it says, "Overall, the class musicale was a huge success. Chrysanthemum was absolutely perfect as a daisy. Victoria made the only mistake. She completely forgot her lines as the dainty fairy queen. Chrysanthemum thought it was wildly funny, and she giggled throughout the entire dance of the flowers. Eventually, Mrs. Twinkle gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and of course, she named her Chrysanthemum." Thanks for joining me for our read aloud today, friends. Stay on if you would like to check out some activities that kind of go with our book. Thanks for staying on with me, friends. So, here is one of the activities that we have going on today. So, since Chrysanthemum is named after a flower, I thought we could do a little flower craft. Okay, so I've got my materials here. I do have everything cut out already, but these, the petals and the leaves down here, they're all made out of circles. So they're all made out of these little circles here. Okay, so I'm basically going to take those, and I have my stem, and I'm going to glue everything on to my paper. So my first flower is pink, kind of like a salmon color. This one is going to be yellow. Okay, so I've got my paper, got everything I need. Just going to grab my glue stick. Okay, are you ready, friends? So first things first, I'm going to glue my stem onto my paper, and I'm going to try not to lose any of my other pieces in the wind. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue on my stem. Okay, and I'm going to carefully line everything up and press this guy down. Okay, take a peek. All right. So, after my stem, I need to glue on the center of my flower. This is a bigger circle than the circles I'm using for the leaves or the petals, okay? All you have to do is you could just find something around your house. Actually, this works really well. So, I just used the outside of my tape roll for the center of my flower. I did use something smaller, like a small jar or a cover to something for the petals and leaves. Okay? All right, now I'm going to press that down. Okay, check out my progress. Here's where we're at now. Okay? Next up, I'm actually going to fold all of my petals and leaves. I'm going to fast forward through part of this so that you don't have to wait while I fold each one. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to fold it like this. Okay, so not quite halfway. But you're going to fold it, and then you're going to open that back up, and then fold it one more time so that you kind of make a triangle, and you leave the other rounded pieces. Those are going to kind of stick up and give you like a three-dimensional effect to your flower. Okay? You're going to do that with all of them. Okay, friends, I've collected all of my petals that blew across my deck, and next what I'm going to do is I'm going to start gluing them on around my big circle up top, the center of my flower. This does not have to be perfect. They could be close together, they could be further apart, it does not matter. Alright, here we go. Just going to put a couple of spots of glue on to get me started. Alright guys, check it out. Okay, so this is what we're looking at so far. Next, I need to put my leaves on the stem. Alright, there we go. There is our finished product. Check it out. Okay, stay tuned for one more activity, friends. Okay, alright, so you know how when we read Chrysanthemum, she talked a lot about her name. Now, her name had 13 letters. I don't know about you, but my name does not have 13 letters. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but my name does not have 13 letters. But here's what we're going to do. So I made this little worksheet, okay? You'll all be getting one of these in the mail, okay? And it's just very simple. It's just about our name. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to write the letters of our name above, in the boxes above the numbers. And then down here, it's hard to tell, down here we're going to write the number of letters that we have in our name. Over here, we're going to use tally marks to tally up the number of letters that we have in our name. And then finally, in the spot right next to that, there was a cute little picture that is there, so you can color that if you would like. It shows two kids playing with letters, and yeah. So here we go. I'm gonna write my name up there so you can see, and I'll show you how we're gonna do it. So my name is Shannon, so I'm gonna start with an S above box number 1. H A N N O N. Alright, now I'm going to tip it up so you can see what I did. Okay. Now I'm going to fill in the number. So friends, right below the last letter of my name is a 7. So that's how many letters are in my name. Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 letters. Okay, so I'm going to make a 7 nice and big in that box. You want to check it out? See that 7? Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to do 7 tally marks. Now we know when we do tally marks, we do 4 down and 1 across diagonally to make the 5. And then I have 2 extras, so 6, 7. Okay, so here's what my tally marks look like today. You see them right here? This box? 7. All of my numbers match, and now I'm all finished, so I can color the little picture. Thanks for joining me today, friends. See you next time.